All right, and we're live.
All right, we're live. There we go.
Hey guys.
And we're all set up. I'm just going to fix my windows here.
Wow, there are already people here. Rick,
Yeah.
Vladislav, sweet, someone who completed the 90 days.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
What is up? Can you guys see us? If you guys can see us, say hey in the chat. I'm not sure if you guys can see us yet. Oh, what's up, Rick? What is up, Rick? Okay, sweet. You guys can hear us. So yeah, Ginger's here with us again. We just thought we'd do another one. Ginger is currently in Minneapolis. Ginger, tell us where you are.
I am in Minneapolis. You got that right, Cam. I'm absolutely in Minneapolis.
Perfect. What are you doing there?
Well, right now I'm visiting a friend, Kira. She and I used to live in Germany together, and I leave tomorrow night. So pretty stoked.
Sweet. Where are you going? You're going back home?
Back to Denver. Yep.
Back to Denver.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good spot. When are you coming to Denver, Cam? That's the real question.
That's a really good question. I'd like to come back soon. Have any of you guys been to Denver? Any of you guys in the US been to Denver?
If you haven't, you should make it a plan because it's a great place.
Denver's
and
a
if
cool
you
spot.
like mountains are close.
Yeah. So what has been the highlight of your week so far?
Ooh. You know, there are a couple. I had a leadership conference on the weekend, which was the original reason that I was in here in Minneapolis. And that was like 900 people from all across North America. So we had a ton of Canadians, awesome people, as you know, obviously, all across like America. And we had the Caribbean, and we had a ton of people from Mexico come up. And that was a high energy conference, to say the least. So that was totally a highlight. And then the other thing was just like yesterday I was walking around downtown in Minneapolis, and I've never been here before in the summer, and that was a mistake. Like I'm totally loving it here now. And yeah, just wandered into Whole Foods as one does, and getting some dinner, and this guy approaches me and just like in a really kind way, he's like, "Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "You are very attractive." And I'm like, "Thank you." It was so cool. And I was like, "Oh, you're really courageous for actually saying that to a person." Like, I get that that's a scary thing for most guys. But we had a really nice conversation. He works here in Minneapolis and just is like a sports trainer / like personal trainer, that kind of thing. So cool guy. Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of a nice little like ego boost for the day, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've noticed lately that I've had quite a few more women smiling at me. I just noticed it.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And it's obviously because I'm fucking huge. That's
a good feeling.
That's just how it is. That's just how it is. When you have big muscles, that's how it goes.
And a kind disposition.
Yeah. And
I mean, people tell you that you're approachable, right? Like you come off as quite approachable, I think personally.
Well, I'm glad I'm approachable. Because normally I walk around like, don't fuck with me. So, you know, I guess it works.
Then people don't, right? That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you guys in the chat, we're going to do kind of like an open Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, start typing those out, and then we're going to come back and answer some of those. The main topics today are things like confidence or passion or purpose, but we'll answer anything that you guys want.
Yeah. So it can also go into things like travel, especially international travel. It's kind of what we hit on last time, which was so fun. So if any of you guys are repeat viewers, like thanks for coming back, because yeah, I had a ton of fun that time. So.
Yeah, and then I did another one on Friday, impromptu.
Oh, nice. What was that on?
You know, just whatever.
Riffing.
I think we talked. Whatever, random questions.
Cool.
But we had a lot of fun. So you mentioned that you went to a leadership conference. And so why do you go to these conferences, and how do you find out about them, and like what do you get when you go?
Great question. So this one was particularly impactful because it was part of a year-long program that I'm in right now. It's called the Team Management and Leadership Program. It's all over the United States, and it's run by Landmark Worldwide, so you can check out Landmark. And I know, Cam, you and I have talked about it as well. It's like one of the normal transformational seminars that you would go to if you're in the personal development world. But they have like more advanced programs if you want to get specific in a type of training, which is why I'm doing this one, because I want to learn how to create teams and teamwork so that I don't always have to be doing everything by myself. Because first of all, it's way less fun. Like, let's be real. And if you're building a big vision, like I want to help a ton more Americans travel internationally, because like right now, only 38% of Americans have a passport, which is pretty low, given especially that, you know, our passport is one of the most powerful passports in the world. You can like pretty much go anywhere and get visa on arrival, which a lot of countries don't have access to. So I wanted to basically like hone my skills as a leader of teams and create leadership within teams so that like people can create other leaders. It's not just me being a leader. It's like I can actually cause someone else to step up into their own leadership and have them master distinctions of leadership, so then they can go and cause others and others and others. So it's this like extended ripple effect that I'm really excited to just be working within and like playing on this year. It's really, really awesome. So
sweet. So I have a follow-up question, but before that, I have to leave a disclaimer.
Okay.
Ginger is not my girlfriend.
Oh my God. Yeah. Everyone. You guys.
Every video we do.
Every single video.
I get questions about this. So no, Ginger's not my girlfriend. Yes, she's one of my best friends in the world.
Really windy.
So, okay.
And yes, I do have a boyfriend. And no, it's not Cam.
Yeah.
His name is Johnny, and he's awesome.
Yes, Johnny's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you guys are cute though. Thanks.
Have you always had a big vision for your life, or is that something that's kind of new over the last couple of years?
It's not new. The vision itself has changed over the past couple of years, but I've always known that I was meant for something really, really positive in the world. And I've never known exactly what that path was supposed to be. And to an extent, I still don't. Like, to say that I've discovered my purpose, my life's purpose, would be a lie, because I don't believe that you can ever just discover it and then be done with it and know it forever and ever. I know my main focus areas where I'm like, I really feel alive, I can tangibly see the impact, and it's a positive impact. So like that has kind of evolved over the years. Originally it was, how can I just be a really kind person and like start with the people around me and build friendships and connections no matter where I'm at. Like that was a huge thing to master. And I really can say that I have mastered that. I find it extremely easy to be friends with people and actually create space where we can share really deep personal things within 30 minutes of meeting each other. It's just safety. And I love that. And I really believe that, the more people can do that with each other, the cooler this world becomes, because then we don't feel alone in whatever we're struggling with. And then from there, it's kind of evolved into more motivational / inspirational / leadership / personal development / mindset upgrades, and just helping people in that. Like, I coach a lot of people individually, and you do too as well. I know your clients love you. We've talked about just the distinctions that you bring to your work, and some of them overlap with mine. I love working with people on upgrading their mindset, because we all have blind spots. Like, that much is super clear. I have filters that I don't even know are there that affect the way that I see the world. And I can't identify what those filters are. So I need people around me from an outside perspective, like coaches and mentors and people that I really trust their insight, and like you, best friends, right? To tell me, yo, Ginger, this is what you're doing. This is a pattern for you, and it's holding you back from something that you say you want. Like, let's take a look at this. Boom. And I love doing that for other people as well. So that's one of the ways that, I guess, in terms of doing something greater, if you identify a blind spot for someone or a pattern that's holding them back, then you have transformation. Like, you can actually cause transformation for another human being, such that something that previously was not available to them, like a breakthrough in their finances, or a breakthrough in how they love themselves, or how they can be in a relationship or not, right? Or fear, right? A breakthrough in fear itself. That's going to change the rest of their life. And that's really exciting to me. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay, so for all of you guys watching this right now, I want you guys to share in the chat. Do you guys feel like you guys have a vision, or, you know, growing up, do you feel like you've had kind of like an inclination of you're here for something, or do you feel like you really struggle with what that vision is? Share that in the chat. Hey, what's up, Jake? What's up, Rem?
Hey.
Rem always loves it when I give him a shout out. So what's up, Rem?
What's up, Rem?
Because, you know, for me, like growing up, I always felt this kind of energy of, you know, I'm here for something, and I want to do something cool or something big. But I wasn't sure what that was going to be. And it took me a long time, up until, you know, even a couple like years ago, for me to really start leaning into that, which is why, you know, Game Quitters has gone from one article and one video to what it is today in the last 2 years, is because I got really clear on like Game Quitters was part of that vision that I have for my life. So
Totally.
I feel like, you know, most of us have that whisper or that idea inside of us, but we're just not always able to tap into that. So yeah, it's just interesting. I'm interested to hear what you guys say in the chat. Ginger, what do you think? And then we're going to get to your guys' questions. Ginger, what do you think has allowed you to start stepping more into that vision over the last couple of years? Like, what has been that tweak?
Yeah, knowing that it's actually not about me, that's been a big deal. So you mentioned everyone sort of having that whisper of what it might be inside of them, but then not really being able to access it or do something about it, right? And like when I was younger or in my teens or even early 20s, the thing that held me back the most was believing that, you know, if I put myself out there and if I created something, then that thing, whatever it was, represented me, and that if it got judged, I got judged. And if it was bad or didn't work, then like I was bad and I didn't work. And so knowing that, like when I realized that whatever I create, it's not at all about me, it's actually about the people who are receiving that thing and using that thing and being helped by that thing, that's actually what I'm focused on, there's way less fear there to like stop me from creating it in the first place, because it's not about me at all. Sure, I might be the one that made it, like you made Game Quitters, but it's not about you. Like you're one person and an integral person, yes, but it's really about all of the guys in your community, the people in your community. It's about them. It's not about you. So it takes the pressure off because it's really not about you.
Right. Yeah.
So,
for me, I, you know, just to share with you guys, like, you know, over the last year or, you know, 8 months, especially, you know, I've gone through some serious challenges in my life. And a big thing that's helped me during that time is having Game Quitters, because I've felt this huge pull every single day to like wake up and work on it, help you guys grow, all of that. And that's given me immense purpose and vision in my life during times that it could have been really easy for me to just like lay in bed all day and be depressed and things like that. But if I just disappeared for a month, you know, I know that that's going to have like a big impact on all of you. And I don't want to do that. Right. So when you find that thing that's bigger than yourself, it really can bring a lot of purpose to your life. And I know I've seen that in my life. So, all right, let's hit some questions. I'm going to scroll up in this chat because there were a couple early on. So there was one about, why do I think gaming excessively is not viewed as an addiction? So the main reason why is just because it's not officially diagnosed in the DSM-5, which is like the Bible of addiction. And a new version comes out of that every couple of years. So in the last version, they did officially recognize internet gaming disorder, which is like the technical term, as something that needs more research. So a big reason why video game addiction just hasn't been officially recognized is that up until a couple of years ago, the amount of research about video game addiction was very, very small. So there just wasn't enough research. But now, since the DSM recognized it as a field that needs more research, since then there's been so much more research. And I can tell you just from like all the research I've read, I would be shocked if video game addiction was not officially recognized the next time, which is in a couple of years. And that's also a big reason why with Game Quitters, we're not just trying to bring the community together, but we're also doing a lot of research with, academic professors to be able to help move the needle on that, to be able to fill gaps in the current research. So that's kind of why, but I do think that it will be officially recognized in the next DSM. Okay, what's the next question? Let's see. Okay, Ginger, what is the first step to start going outside and to turn your life around?
Start going outside. So when you say outside, who asked this?
Elvis.
Elvis.
And so a lot of people in our community struggle a lot with like social anxiety.
Yeah, totally.
And just even like leaving the house can be a very difficult thing.
Sure. I actually wrote this later on in the chat to Eugene because he had sort of a similar question. One of the things that I literally am working with a woman, a female client of mine who is in her late 30s and deals with social anxiety as well. She's a highly accomplished massage therapist and very introverted, and she runs a practice outside of her house. She doesn't actually have to leave home very often, but when she does, she feels anxious, right? Like that's something that we're actually transforming currently. So one thing that really made a difference for her on our last coaching call, which I'll tell you guys, is that the moment you realize that most adults walking around are actually afraid of each other, like if you really take the time to notice when you are going to start talking to someone that there's something there for you, it's kind of like this hesitation or this fear, or this feeling of like constriction, right? You can start to see how when other people are going to talk to you, they have that same thing going on for them. They might, have a slightly more closed body posture, or they might hesitate, or they might try to, not be a bother, right? For a lot of people, it's like, I don't want to be a bother. And when you really get that everyone's just walking around afraid of each other, you get how funny that is. And it actually leaves you free. Because if everyone's actually afraid of each other, then there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, it's just, we're all on the same page, actually. And so if you get that, or when you get that, because it might take a little bit of time to notice it, you're totally free. And in the meantime, if it does take you a while to get that, start to notice where you can like take little baby steps outside of that really comfortable zone inside your house or inside your room or the basement or whatever is like, that's your home, that's your cave. Choose one thing that you would like to do if only you weren't afraid of it. And then like, if that's going to a movie, maybe it's with one friend, maybe it's alone if you're really pushing your comfort zone and just sitting in the dark at that movie alone, for example, book it in your calendar. Actually make a time to do it so that you have a specific time to actually start dealing with all of the emotions that are going to come up for you. Because what happens when we don't actually make time to do something like that challenges us, we never have to or never get to deal with the really uncomfortable and, again, like constricting, anxious emotions that come up. And when they do come up, this is the last thing I'll put in, realize that they're not going to kill you. Like you will live, you will survive. So whatever wave of emotion you experience, it's not going to kill you. Breathe, take another step in whatever direction you're going in, like outside of the house, breathe again. Like keep breathing, keep taking those actions little by little and realize that, go at your own pace. Like this is not like a race. You don't have to get anywhere super fast. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, including yourself, by the way. Another way I like to think of it is it's all an experiment anyway. So like anything that I do, it's just sort of seeing like, I wonder if this will work, and whatever happens, happens. Like I can't control that, but it'll be interesting to see. So you can play it like a game, then the pressure's off you, which makes things a lot easier. So yeah, I hope that helps.
I totally agree. You guys can hear us, right? Just say in the chat that you can hear us because Eugene said that there's no sound.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Eugene, just check your settings, or I guess you can't even hear me say that. So there's kind of like 2 points that Ginger hit that I think are really important. The number one is that any of the emotions you guys are experiencing, that's okay. And I kind of touched on this yesterday in a new video on what if gaming is hard, is that those emotions are there as an opportunity for you to be able to work on them. What you're kind of experiencing, that's okay because that's what you're experiencing, and you can only start from where you are.
Right.
So even if you're experiencing some anxiety, some social anxiety, some fear, any of that, like that's okay because that's where you're at. Now, how can you experiment and take one step forward to be able to build that comfort zone out further, right? Exactly. And so I shared this, I think, last time or at some point, but I used to have like panic attacks at parties. And like my friends would be like, yo, where did you go last night? And I was like, oh, just, went home. Yeah. And it's because I would like sneak out the back and like run home because I was having a panic attack. And now, I can go to like parties and groups and like I'm all right. But it's because I noticed that that's where I was at. And then I started to try and experiment to figure out how I could kind of be there more. And a lot of it was me looking at what am I afraid of? Like, I'm afraid of people picking on me at this party. Well, they're all my closest friends. So why would people do that? And it was from my experiences when I was younger. So as soon as I got clear on that, I was just able to kind of redefine like what I want my experience to be like in the world. And a big part of what I want in the world is for me to be able to go and interact at a party, have a good time, and not live my life from such a big place of fear. Instead, choosing to live my life from a place of contribution and growth and fun and all of that.
Totally.
Okay, so there were some other questions.
Yeah.
Okay, Ginger, Rick asked, what is your opinion about how much you can involve yourself in self-improvement without getting narcissistic?
Yeah.
I can't say that word, or losing your own opinion.
Great question, because it's like, okay, how much time do I spend navel gazing before I'm just like lost inside of my own little bubble and it's all about me, right? Like one perfect way to counteract that is to realize, like Cam just said, that your life can be about contribution to other people. So that whatever you up level in, whatever you raise your standards in, whatever new mindset tools you get, or whatever you can learn, that it's actually not for you. It's such that you can be a more powerful person to help others become more self-expressed or free or powerful in their leadership or their work or whatever it is. That it's actually not like, oh, I'm gaining all these tools just for me and I'm going to hoard them to myself. It's like I'm doing the work so that more people can wake up. Like more people can like get that they are the creators of their own realities, that they have the power to actually say, like, this isn't working for me in my life. Like I need to and want to and can do something different. So that's how I go about it nowadays. Like, cause I did spend a lot of time as a teenager, like reading all of the personal development books, and it was all about me, and it was totally like, blinders up and focused on just me. Right. But when you get to that point where you're kind of like you said, like being narcissistic or really just like doing it for yourself, yeah, like you'll probably realize it at some point. And then when you do, make it about the others. Who can you like actually contribute to with whatever it is that you've learned? I hope that helps to answer it. And the other thing I would say though, in terms of losing your own opinion or like losing yourself in there, that's why it's great to have a coach, like an actual person that's not yourself working with you. Because in your own mind, like think about it. It's a bad neighborhood up there for most of us. It's like a really bad neighborhood. We don't want to like stay up there. There's a lot of like crappy stuff that's being said or whatever. So it's great to have someone who's outside yourself who can coach you through those challenges and those breakdowns. And that's why Cam and I do the work that we do, because we love helping people see what they otherwise could not see because they're in their own bad neighborhood up in their head. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, personally, I also have a coach. I work with a coach, and it's specifically because even though I'm at the point I'm at in my growth and my journey, it helps a lot to be able to have someone I have a relationship with where I can share anything and I can kind of be as open and honest as I could possibly imagine and know that they're there with me to support me instead of me having to do all of this on my own, which I'm really good at doing everything on my own.
You are.
And that's also sometimes a bit of a problem because I then just end up doing everything on my own and I never ask for help. Excuse me. And it's also part of why I'm doing this trip to Tanzania and I'm raising money for it. Because I could just make $5,000 and pay for the whole trip myself. And traditionally that's what I would do. But the problem is that then I never ask for help. I never involve other people. And you can only go so far on your own. And the truth about people who really win in life are that they're surrounded by other people helping to support them get to where they get to, right? So you look at Olympic athletes, you look at Michael Phelps, best Olympic athlete of all time, and he has like 15 coaches, right? And the reason is because he can't do it on his own. He can only get so far on his own. So I saw a comment about being suspicious of coaches, and being suspicious is good because you want to make sure that people are the right fit. But at the same time, that skepticism can sometimes hold you back from being able to actually step in and like be able to get the support of others, right? So for me, there was a time in my life a couple years ago where you couldn't pay me to go to a seminar. You couldn't pay me to read a book. You couldn't pay me to talk to anyone else and ask for their help.
Why was that, Cam?
And it's because I was so caught up in my own ego of like, oh, I have to be the person to like figure everything out on my own.
Or like fix this on my own.
When it was like, who cares? Like, you guys don't even have any idea how much I learned from other people, right?
It's really fun too, that way. It's less frustrating, first of all.
And it's just like, it's not about me, right? It's about my growth, but being able to like open yourself up, be vulnerable, and lean on others for support really speaks volumes about yourself. So yeah, just look into that. Like, being skeptical is important because you want to be able to make the decision to work with someone who is like a perfect fit to work with you. And sometimes that skepticism can come from just trying to hold yourself back. So be aware of that. How you find coaches, I mean, that's all up to you. Like, sometimes you'll find someone like, say, like on the YouTube channel where it's like, oh, I really resonate with what he shares, and you can reach out and you can have a conversation about that. Okay, there were a couple other questions. Okay, I'm going to touch on two. One, big fan of No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. If you guys haven't read that book, that's a really good one to read. And then for NoFap, there was a question about NoFap. So I've gone through the NoFap challenge like 2 or 3 times. I basically never watch porn. Like, I mean, very rarely, like maybe like once a year tops. Generally, I think that porn itself is a big problem and really warps your ability to connect authentically with other people, especially as a man with women. And porn just generally, the research around porn and gaming is very similar. So for me, I basically have like a rule of like no porn, period. So that's how I roll, and I just feel better doing that. And I think that if you're gaming a lot, there's also a good chance that you're watching a lot of porn or doing that, and you want to be aware of both. Okay.
I'm getting a couple of questions from John. This whole self-improvement thing, right? And if it happens gradually, like how long will it take? Because it feels hard while you're in it, right? And he asked, is self-improvement usually gradual, or is it okay to expect a sea change? And then I answered, it's actually, transformation itself is a sea change, and then self-improvement, right? The word improvement is just a process that happens over time, and it's actually never ending. Like, you can consistently improve yourself throughout the rest of your life, as long as you're still breathing, right? And then John asked, what do you mean when you say transformation? Have you written about this topic? And so a couple of things. So change is not transformation. So change is something more, better, or different, right? And then transformation is, it's not the same as before, as in like the entire context or the lens through which you're seeing the world is a different lens. So for example, I'll give you like a perfect example from this past weekend at this leadership conference. I had the realization from an interaction with one of my coaches who is like very advanced in his program, that the word responsibility, to me, it means these very different things. And okay, let me start over. The word responsibility, when you, the person sitting in your chair, hear me say that word, automatically in your brain there are associations and you make it mean something. But what you, the person sitting in your chair, make the word responsibility mean is actually different, I assert, than what this person here, make the word transformation or responsibility mean. So we all have different meanings for the same word. And I really got this weekend that I make the word responsibility mean hard work, mean it's like very significant, there's a heaviness to it, it's daunting, it's overwhelming, it's this like negativity associated with the word responsibility. And that I have inherited certain conversations around this word from what my dad thinks responsibility means, from what my mom believes that responsibility means. Like I've inherited their conversations, their meaning attached to the word responsibility. So I actually haven't discovered what responsibility is for myself. And I got that. And the second I got that, I just saw that my filter for the world has been seeing responsibility as something that's actually really hard. Like, oh God, I have to be an adult about this. I have to be responsible, right? It's really heavy and hard. That's my filter. It's so normal I don't even notice it. And that was the moment where I got, oh wow, boom, it can be something totally different. And that was the transformation. So it's not a change. It's not like responsibility is something different and I can, make myself more responsible. That would be more, better, different. But it's a transformation of how I see the word responsible and what it means for me to actually be responsible in my own life. It occurs for me differently now. I might hear someone tell me, like, Ginger, you should be responsible about X, Y, Z. Could be finances, relationships, my health, whatever. And I don't actually hear heavy, hard, significant anymore. I'm like, oh, cool, challenge. This is awesome. Like, I can totally do this. And it's a different lens. So that's what I mean by transformation. It's literally that everything shifts. It's not a more, better, different conversation. It is a shift that you can't go back from. That's what transformation means. Whereas personal development and self-improvement, if you want to go with the traditional route that many of the books have you go, which is totally valid and also really, really helpful, especially if you're talking about something that's concrete and measurable like your physical fitness. That's something that is a gradual process that happens over time, and that you are up-leveling consistently in these like steps, so to speak. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm totally happy to talk to you like offline, whatever helps you most. Okay? Cool.
Yeah, and so one thing just to kind of bring it to like, another way of saying it is like, ultimately we have certain definitions for things based on experiences and so forth. So one example I like to use is so I'm Canadian, and the word snow to me means like fucking cold, and I hate the cold. So when you say the word snow, I'm like, oh, get me the hell away from that.
Right.
To an Australian, the word snow might be like, wow, that's like novel, that's exciting, I can go snowboarding, like that can be fun.
Right.
So human beings, two different human beings from different places, different experiences, they see a word in a different way, and based on that, they're going to have a different experience, right? So exactly, you like skiing, so snow for you is something awesome, right? And sure.
Oh, trolls. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Cool. So
okay, bye.
The thing is that like different words mean different things, and there's many different reasons why you may have that definition. But the point is that you need to be conscious about what those definitions are. You need to be aware of that. And then you need to intentionally choose what that new definition is, one that's aligned with your values and goals and so forth.
Right. And here's the thing, it's hard, Cam, right, to see what your definition of something is, because it's so normal to you that you don't even believe that it's a definition. You believe that it's just the truth. It's the way to see it. That's where someone external, like a coach or a mentor, will come in really handy, because they can point at you or point at that and say, sorry about that, guys. They can actually point to it and say, like, hang on, this isn't actually the truth. This is just how you're seeing it. Let's take a look at it a different way. Sorry to interrupt.
Exactly.
That was like,
no, that's perfect. She nailed it. She took
nailed it.
Exactly what I was about to say. Stealing my lines.
Sorry. North Russia. Man,
that's why I moved to California. Honestly, I retired from winter. People don't even understand how much I hate the cold.
Yeah. I hear that Lake Baikal is really cool though in Russia. It's like the largest.
I bet Russia's off the hook.
Yeah, I'm super excited whenever I go there.
Okay, so Rem asked, he wants to chase a music career, but he's just afraid of failure, that he'll end up broke or a failure in life.
Maybe.
So he's paralyzed to take action. So here's the thing. Casey Neistat had this amazing video on chasing your dreams. And what he said was something like, you need to, and I'll send the video out to you, Rem, but you need to chase your dreams, and you need to commit to chasing your dreams from a place of, you will do it for the rest of your life. And two things are going to happen. Either one, you will get there, and that will be awesome. Or two, you will die trying. And then you won't give a shit if you didn't get there, because you will be dead. So whatever your dreams are, go for it 100% and commit to going for it for your entire life. Because you'll either get there and you'll love it, or you'll die trying and you won't regret that. And they've done so many studies on this, but like the one thing that you will regret, and the one thing that people do regret, is having not tried, because they realize at the end of their life that all this stuff they thought was important actually did not matter at all when they were on their deathbed and they were about to die. And all they wished that they did was that they did go for it, because they had the time, they had the energy, and they could have tried. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. The way I see it is like, we wake up every day anyways, and we go to bed every night anyways. And what we do between those 2 points is always up to us. And we're living anyways. So like, what else are you going to do? Like, go work a job just to like wake up and do it all over again? Fuck that. Do whatever you kind of feel called to do. And yeah, I'll put the link, Jake, in the description. But like, guys, I can't express enough just how important it is to recognize that like nothing in the world really matters except what leaves you happiest and most fulfilled. And ultimately, that's always going to be what's aligned with your values, what your vision is, and whether or not you're living from that place every single day. So like, everything else otherwise, what parents' expectations are, what friends' expectations are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, doesn't really matter. Thank you, Weirdo, for subscribing to the channel. Okay, so what's the next question? Okay.
How do I become more productive? No, you answer that.
There's one. I've quit games 2 months now, and I can already notice improvements. Okay, so Ginger, for you, you have a message that you want to share with the world. And
I have lots of messages, Cam.
How did you start to share that? How did you start helping other people?
Let me think back. Let's see. So the first time that I started talking about helping Americans travel internationally and why that's even important was in 2014, like officially speaking about it, 2014 at this really cool 5-day institute called Starting Block that Cam and I have actually both attended. And this was in Boulder, Colorado. I was living there at the time. And we had this opportunity within the 5 days to get up in front of a group of, I think it was like 60 people. And I was so nervous, right? Like my hands were sweaty, like I was getting red because I blush really easily, super pale. So that's that. And, you know, my voice was kind of shaking, but I just got really clear that it was something that I was passionate about and I wanted to share it. And if I didn't share it, then I would regret that. And that felt worse than being embarrassed. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to share this, right? So I got up, walked to the front of the room. I had my, 60 seconds for this little mini pitch. And I basically recapped what I now call the traveler's mindset, which is this openness, it's curiosity, it's a sense of adventure. And it's not restricted to when you're traveling. It's not restricted to people who have a lot of money and can buy like multi-$1,000 plane tickets all around the world. Like, that's not it. What the traveler's mindset is the way of being that you and I and everyone on this chat can embody every single moment of every single day if we choose. So that's the openness, that's the curiosity, that's the adventurous spirit. And I basically pitched that to the room because so many people have this idea that to go out into the world, have a vacation, have an escape, go exploring or whatever, like that's a different life. That's not real life. And then you come back and then you're back in real life, in the real world. And then you get into this routine and you get stagnant and stuck and your soul dies, right? That's like how we normally view that whole scenario. And what I was proposing was this new way of thinking about it, that we actually all can have a traveler's mindset no matter where we are in the world, whether we're at home or in a different state or different province or a different country. And people loved it. And I was like, whoa, this reaction is just so positive. Maybe I should do something with this. And so I created a website, I gave a TEDx talk, and a lot of other things. And now I know there was like a big gap between that very small 60-second little pitch and giving a TEDx talk. But it started with that really small 60-second thing. Like literally, that was it. And, Cam will tell you, this is something that I've just been developing and talking about for, ever since then, really. So like 2.5 years almost now.
Yep.
And I don't think it's something I'll ever stop talking about, because it's important.
Yep. I knew Ginger before she was even cooler than she is now.
You knew me back when I was like really afraid of public speaking. I was in European Gingerland. I lived in Germany for 3 years, so I don't know if you guys knew that.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar. Ja, das ist total wunderbar. Ich kann auf Deutsch reden, falls ihr auch Deutsche seid. Keine Ahnung.
Yes, whatever she just said.
Anyway, that was for the Germans in the audience. But yeah, it's just like you have to start small, because where else are you going to start? I mean, or you could start with like a big proposal, but it's still just one thing. It's just like one step, right? And you do build up confidence along the way. Like I really enjoyed giving a TED talk or TEDx talk because it forced me to get over my fear of public speaking, because I committed to something that I wasn't sure I could pull off. And I had to become the type of person who would pull it off to make it happen. And so it was this like, I forced an outcome on myself, basically, because I wanted to. And I believe that everyone can really do that. You just have to set yourself up in situations where there's no way out. There's no back door for you to, escape from. So having a coach helps with that too. You agree?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something. Oh, Ginger,
What?
can you believe that 25% of the people currently watching are from Lithuania?
No way. Wait.
There's 4
What
of
are you
them.
guys
How crazy
doing
is that?
here?
What the
That's
fuck
so
is going on in Lithuania that we have so many members from there? You guys are giving Poland the run for the money. Something going on in Eastern Europe.
Well,
okay.
I really am excited for the day that I get to visit Vilnius, because I have a good friend. I think you pronounce her name Anzelika, maybe? Anyway, she lives there. She just had a baby. She's awesome. And I really want to go to Lithuania. So, yay. Go, you
Okay. So there's two questions. One is from No Shit Boy. Great username also. And one is, I cannot say your name, but it's about your knee injury. So, okay. So the first one is about how, I think it's really about like, how do you rebuild trust with yourself after you've been living a lie, which is about gaming addiction. And this is something that I definitely went through myself, not necessarily in the context of gaming addiction, but more just there were certain times in my life where I've always kind of been this guy that's like, I'll do whatever I want. I don't really care too much about what other people's opinions are. So like, oh, you're supposed to like graduate high school. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. You're supposed to go to college. Like, nah, I'm good. So for a long time, part of my identity was built around this idea that like, I know what's best for me and I'm going to do it. And that was good. And there were certain times in my life where, some of those bets that I made or some of those decisions I made didn't work out so well. And when I moved to Colorado a couple years ago, this was a big decision because I had kind of come to a point in my life where like there were 3 or 4 or 5 different things that I thought were going to be really good that I kind of made like an executive decision on that ended up not being very good. So I didn't really trust myself as much anymore. And when I moved to Colorado, this was a time where I was like, I'm making a bet on myself and I think this is going to work out. And if not, then I need to completely rethink the way I approach my life. Mm-hmm. Now, Colorado ended up being like, obviously one of the most amazing things ever, totally changed my life. But when you've been living a lie, or when you've been lying to other people, even yourself, again, you can only start from where you are. But you have to start. So you have to start using this as an opportunity to rebuild the trust that you have with yourself. You have to use this as an opportunity to start rebuilding the trust with other people. And the only way that you can do that is by taking action and embracing that. So yeah, you're probably going to be a bit vulnerable. You're going to have to be a bit courageous. You're going to have some tough conversations. But the only way that you can change your reputation with others and with yourself is through actions. Mm-hmm. So it's not as simple as just trying to like say different things. It's about how you show up every single day. And what I found is the difference in my life right now than a year ago, especially, is the amount of commitment I have to being in integrity with my word. Amazing. And having my actions reflect what I'm saying to myself and to other people is just completely different. Even yesterday, my roommate and I, we have like water and we go get it from this store. And I had taken the water jugs in my car and then I went to this coffee shop, and long story short, I almost got home and I was like, shit, I forgot to go get the water. Mm-hmm. And it was like 5:30. And I was like, I'm just going to go home. I'll get it tomorrow. But I know like how important it is to my roommate that she has her like super extra filtered water. And it wouldn't have been a big deal because it wasn't necessarily like my job to go do it, but I wanted to do it. So I drove my ass back to the water store, got the water, and like it made her day, right? And so that's a situation where I said I was going to do something, and even though I got a bit off track where I got home and I hadn't done it, I made the commitment to go back, get the water, and then come home. And that just is more in alignment with myself, which makes me feel better about the reputation I have with myself. So I hope that answers that. And yeah, go California. And then the other question about,
can I add something actually before you go on?
Yes, you may.
Cool. So integrity is like an awesome conversation to be in. And if you're gaining trust or you're trying to like work on your self-trust again, just like be mindful of when you start making yourself really bad and wrong, if you notice where you're out of integrity. Because I think the tendency is for us to get in this really fast downward spiral when we notice like, oh, my integrity is totally out all over the place in my life. Oh my God, I'm such a bad person. Like, how can I ever get out from this? Or I said that I wanted to work on my integrity, but I keep not doing it or whatever. That we go in the negative spiral rather than just actually being with what's so, which is you have noticed what you've done and you noticed what you haven't done. And like, we only have the present moment and potentially some future moments too, if we're lucky. And then just really choosing moment by moment to keep with that commitment and not make yourself really wrong for it if you, in another moment in the future, don't live up to that commitment with yourself. So one thing that I actually just encountered this past week with another person who had promised me something several times and then not delivered on that promise, he was saying that he was really embarrassed for not delivering on that promise. And this was like work related. We wanted to schedule something where both of us could talk, and he had to reschedule at the very last minute several times. So he felt embarrassed and told me after the fact. And I was like, hey, it's all good. The important thing is that even if you can't keep your word, that you honor your word. And one really easy way to honor your word is actually the second that you know that you're not going to keep your promise, whether it's to yourself or to another person, that you get in communication and you just acknowledge that you won't be keeping your promise. And that really does mean in that second. Like for you, Cam, with your roommate, Ellie, for example, like, hey, Ellie, I totally did not get the water today. I am sorry, I apologize, and like I know the impact on you is probably that you're frustrated and you want your water, and you might not, trust me to always be reliable for going to get things when I say that I am, and I will have the water to you by 8 p.m. or whatever, and then making that repromise. That's a way to honor your word, even if you can't keep it when you first give it. So
exactly. Exactly. Okay, cool. There's a couple questions. So I can't say your name. So dude who hurt his knee today. Here's the thing.
Knee? What?
So he's into mountain biking. He wants to improve, and then he got injured today. So the thing is that there's always going to be times throughout the rest of your life where you have setbacks, or where you have challenges, or where things don't go. I just don't understand the internet sometimes.
The internet is hilarious.
Yeah. Anyways, there's always going to be setbacks, and that's okay, because the setbacks are opportunities for you to grow. So yes, it might not be perfect for you to be able to like go riding because you have a knee injury, but that does give you an opportunity to work on other things that will help you become a better rider over time. Right? So I played hockey, and there were times in my life where I got injured, actually a lot of times in my life where I got injured. And that meant I had more time to study game film. That meant I had more time to work on other muscles in my body. That maybe gave me some time to rest. That gave me some time to work on my own personal development. Maybe spend a bit more time in school. Like, there's always a opportunity for you to respond in a way where the setback is actually an advantage. Mm-hmm. But it's up to you to choose to see it that way, and to choose to take action in being able to move forward in any way that you want. So that's the thing is in A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he talks about how the last human freedom we all have is our ability to choose our response to our circumstances, and to define what they mean for us. So between something happening and the decision you make, there's a space in between, which is your choice, right? So regardless of any setbacks you have, any challenges you guys run into, you always have an opportunity to choose how you want to move forward. And you get to make that choice. So make one that is aligned with your values, it's aligned with your goals, and is going to help you move forward. So we have just a couple more minutes, and then I got to go to the gym, of course, so that I can get all these girls to be smiling at me when I walk down the street.
Obviously.
So we're going to answer your question, Jake, quick. Casual sex, Ginger, what do you think?
Of course, you would pass that question off to me, so you have to answer it yourself. I'll gladly answer that question, actually. It depends on the person. Like, if you yourself are in the phase of life or in the mindset that is something that you like want to explore, it's your choice. Like, there's no one, at least I assume no one in this chat is living in a country where they restrict or will jail you for having casual sex, for example, or sex outside of marriage. If you are, I would move. But if it's something that like you are into exploring, like, you do you. That's what I would say. For me, that's not something that I'm interested in. There's just a lot of risk and very little reward involved. And again, everyone goes through phases in life. So if you're in that phase and that's what you're up to, then do so, and do it with caution, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say about that.
Sweet. Yeah, and I kind of feel similar. Like, obviously, I went through my. I obviously went through a period in my life where I was like a young man running around like a dude.
Like a dude.
And that was like a phase of my life that I look back on and was a good phase of my life, because now it's like out of my system. But now, I'm a lot more interested in partnership. I'm a lot more interested in very like authentic and real conversations and relationships. And I am armed and dangerous. And the difference is that my actions have to be aligned with what my goals and values are.
Right.
So I'm not against casual sex. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But for me right now, to go and just have a bunch of casual sex would be out of alignment, because it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm trying to create in my life. And what you'll find is, when you're really clear about what you're trying to create in your life, if you're doing things that are out of alignment with that, then it's really hard to create it, because there's an energetic component to all of this.
Yep.
I'm just at a point where like I'm kind of like abstaining from casual sex, because that's going to create the space for me be able to
have someone really awesome show up.
Exactly.
It's not casual. That's like just as serious about whatever it is they're doing and that you are.
Exactly.
And that is like a match to what it is that you want for yourself.
Exactly. And so the question that I always ask myself is, what are my goals or what are my values? And am I willing to stay true to them? So anytime like I'm thinking of, say, watching porn, I'm like, hey, are you willing to stay true to not watching porn, which is like something in your values? And if not, then that's the choice that you're making. You're making a direct choice to not live in alignment with your values,
right,
which has certain consequences. So
right.
I always just ask myself, like, am I willing to stay true to what I know I want in my life? Okay, Jake, let's answer your question, and then we got to roll. By the way, guys, if you guys want to support my mission to Tanzania to build a clean water well, I would love your support. You can check the link. We're taking donations to build a clean water well, and your support makes a big difference. And then Ginger also has a program to help you guys travel if that's something that you guys are looking to do. And I'm just going to
answers the question on jet lag, by the way, that someone asked earlier.
Cool. Ginger's guide is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a 30 video course, and it's pretty awesome. So check it out if you want.
And if you guys like have any questions about travel, check out the other live stream that Ginger and I did, because we talked all about that. Shout out to yesterday, who always leaves awesome comments on the videos. Okay, Jake, your question was about your parents. Okay, all his parents care about is school, and he doesn't care that much. So should he do it just for the sake of it, and in your spare time do passions like fitness? Jake, how old are you? Can you tell me in the chat how old you are? Because that makes a difference.
Yeah, what kind of school are we talking about?
By the way, we have 20 we had 21, then we had 20. Okay, 15. Awesome. There's a female on this live chat. Yes.
Yay, women.
Okay. Yeah, women. So, Jake, if you're 15, here's my advice. Instead of focusing on school from a perspective of being interested in the content of the work, focus more on how being there can help you develop certain skills in your life.
Totally.
So when I was in school, I thought like learning about history and learning about math and all this stuff was really fucking boring. And what I wish I did differently was, I wish that instead of seeing it as like more content focused, I focused more on how it was an opportunity for me to develop discipline, or develop my social skills, or develop my ability to get work done, or to develop my work ethic. And excuse me, when I started to see it more from that perspective, that really helped me then not have to focus so much on whether or not I was interested in the actual content that I was working on. So right now, your parents, of course, they only care about school because they care about your safety. They care about your success in life.
Right.
And the easiest way to ensure that that happens for them and their generation is you going to school, you going to college, right? So they're doing it out of love for you. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you can go to school and you can like crush it, get the best grades in class, etc. And then in your spare time, you can focus a lot on things like, you know, going to, oh, sweet. Awesome. What's up? Kill a raid. I have no idea what that means, but go team.
Okay.
Cool.
What's happening over here?
I don't know, but that's cool.
Hey guys.
Put user in timeout. Ginger, what do you think about that?
About parents wanting something that's not exactly what you want?
Yes.
I think your answer was spot on, Cam. First of all, like they want that out of love for you. They want you to be like the most like capable human being ever, so that you can. Wow, we really are getting rated. You guys are very.
It's not the first time it's happened to me.
This is so funny.
One time.
I just love the internet. This is like stuff that happens online.
Yeah.
You guys are so like, come on in, like actually like hang out for a second.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. This is so funny.
Your parents want you to do something like that. You know, it's all right. Like the funnest thing, but what you can do is you can use a lot of your spare time to be able to develop a lot of different things. So
yeah.
So embrace fitness, embrace working on yourself, embrace your personal development, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you'll just find that there's a lot of progress that you can make, even though you're at a point where you're in school. And then as you move forward in your life and as you move into like being 18, 19, 20, you know, et cetera, you have opportunities to then take more control over your life. But you're in a position where I don't think that it's worth like fighting your parents on all of this stuff.
Exactly.
Just about you making the most of the situation that you've got and keeping a really good positive relationship with your parents because they love you.
Right.
And then in your spare time, being able to like grow as much as possible. So yeah, that's what I would kind of focus on. And I hope that answers your question. Okay, we got one more question while I block all these fools. So
this is hilarious.
Who wants the last question? I always love like that's a really good use of your time. It's rating someone's live stream. I think that's a great use of time. Okay, who's got the last question? Well, I appreciate everyone getting us to 35 users.
Am I single, Ginger? No, I am not.
No, Ginger's not single. She's got an awesome boyfriend, of which is not my name.
His name is Johnny.
And his name is Johnny, and Johnny's dope. Good friend of mine as well. Yep. I sold him my mountain bike.
Yeah, then he proceeded to get stolen.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That sucks.
So shitty. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay, Johnny, you said that you wanted the last question. Okay, cool. It's Tyler, right? He's from Canada. He's from Saskatchewan. Follows me on Twitter.
Cool.
Okay, ways to support people to quit gaming. The best way is to be the best example yourself of someone who is living a great life. And then beyond that, you mentioned things like how can you support other people? So I think, you know, things like sharing your story, helping answer more questions for people, et cetera, et cetera. So message me on Discord and we can talk about that. I think, you know, you sharing like your story could be really powerful. So I can help you more with that.
It's actually a great point, Cam. Something that I don't want to step over because it's more powerful than I think we give it credit for is actually just sharing. So like one thing I heard this past weekend at the conference I was at is that people don't fall out of love. They just stop sharing. And with, you know, whatever transformation that everyone in here is experiencing, whether it's facilitated by Cam or whether you have it happen on your own, or you've got this breakthrough and you notice that someone else is struggling with that very thing, like that's the universe saying, like, boom, this is your time. You get to step up and actually share what it is that made a difference for you with them so that you can make a difference for them. And the other double bonus, like, sort of opportunity that comes up when that happens is that in your sharing, you get present to what happened for you and why it was so important to you. So you actually remember, like, oh shit, that's what I was committed to, or like, that's what's important to me. And you'll feel it in your body. You get just like totally present to it again. So share. That's what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Should you view school only for the sake of learning? I think you should view everything for the sake of learning. And like, the more you can approach life from a place of like, what can you learn from it, the better your life will be. Whether it's something you can control, like, you know, I don't know, like anything other than what you can control, like going to school. But the more you can just approach life from a perspective of like, how can you learn from everything that's going on, the better your life will be. I have no idea how to be verified on YouTube.
Google knows, though. They have like a tutorial.
Google okay, cool. So that's a wrap. I'm going to go to the gym. If you guys want to support our mission to Tanzania, I would really appreciate it. That's the land. Ginger's awesome course on travel. Go here. Charlotte, the is, if you go to forum.gamequarters.com and click Discord in the navigation, you can find it there. But I really hope you guys got the value out of this. Really appreciate you guys for being here and asking questions. We got rated, so that's like a big accomplishment. I'm so proud of our community for getting to a point where we're able to be rated. I hope it's not the last time. I hope that they can rate us by sharing our videos long and far on all gaming forums to all gamers all around the world.
Heck yeah.
Daddy says, hey, ladies. It's him again.
Oh,
all right.
Daddy, what is happening?
The internet's just amazing.
So funny. But yeah, you guys come hang out on Traveler's Mindset if you want to like learn about how you can travel the world, or even just start by doing something super small in your comfort zone closer to home. Really would love to have you guys over there as well. And for now, yeah, keep being adventurous. And thank you, Cam.
Yeah. And any of you guys that came late, you guys can go watch the replay, which should be up here right away. That's all right, Daddy. Replay. Okay. Am I?
Oh, you're not good yet, but I hope that people can hear you. It's okay. It just started. But I hope that people can. Yep, shout out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yo, Cam. Hi. We can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Love you guys. We're not dead.
Okay. Oh, yes, we're back. Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll be back on Thursday with a new YouTube video. Go check out Ginger stuff. Go check out our mission to Tanzania, and hope you guys have a great day. Peace.
Bye, guys. Cam, you want to hit the stop button?
I did. It says
we are
stopping.
still live. This is hilarious. Okay.